AJ? What kind of performance did he have today?
I would say that he probably was about average. He's had better days. He's had worse days. Trey, when your quarterback's not live, it's good because you're not going to have the opportunity to sack him physically. However, he's so big and such a good runner that it's just hard in scrimmages for him to a lot of times get into a routine because he's so powerful as a runner. But I don't think he was inaccurate or anything of that nature. I just, we had some long drives on offense, a long drive or two on offense, and just one of them ended in a touchdown, the other and two of them ended up in field goals.
Did anybody, I was going to ask you about KJ, but Trey did, but is any of the backup quarterbacks or any of the backup tailbacks behind Trey Smith, did any of them have a good day?
Yeah, I thought Oglesby ran the ball well. I thought Five ran the ball well. A.J. Green's a little dinged up, so we elected to hold him today, even though I wish we could have played him because, this would have been a great opportunity for him. But I thought Rocket ran hard. Dominic, we played him at a little bit of running back as well today along with the tight end spot, and I thought he ran the ball hard and well. I thought our defense was very physical in their tackling. They missed some later on as the scrimmage went on, but I think we found something there in 23 and 5. I think 22 is our starter. I mean, that's how it is, and but I think those two had a good day. I don't know the statistics of it, but
how about the backup quarterback?
Yeah, I don't. We can get better there. We have a battle going in there. Honestly, we've got to find another quarterback that it can be consistent in those things, and Malik has shown that he's that guy. Probably not as consistent today. But again, when you let him run the ball, I mean, he might be the fastest guy on the field. And so some of that's getting in the groove a little bit. He had some that were dropped, in his defense too. Threes, there was, we rotated Renfro and John Stephen and Coley. And I don't know that any of them stood out above the other without watching the tape.
As far as the pass rushers, how was it? And anybody on the defensive line standing out at all?
Well, they did a nice job of rushing the passer. Trey Williams, I don't know, we might have had 2 or 3 sacks. I know he had 2. It may have been more. Utsey, Bridgeway. I mean, you look at the guys we had, from last year. Zach, I think Dorian Gerald's had a really good camp. He put on weight. He's about 270 now. Had a good day today as well. Torian Carter's continued to come along. Eric Gregory, Stewart, from a group that we were very concerned about as far as depth and starters and all that. It's kind of taken shape a little bit, but those guys got after the quarterback, and a lot of times they're a 3-man rush, certainly, and a 4-man rush as well, but they look good.
I had a question about the run game, what you saw from the O-line and how well you ran the ball today.
Well, not consistently. I mean, we had some good runs in there, and then some runs where we, missed some blocks, and like what a first scrimmage is going to be like. We've got to become more consistent up front, which we have the players to do that. And I think right now we're going against a pretty good defensive front, and using a lot of running backs, in there. So the timing of all those things has to get better, and I'm sure we will. I'm not concerned about it, but it's not as consistent as what we need it to be.
Sam, I guess Hunter tweeted out a picture of him getting a cleat in the face or something. Did you see that play, or is he doing okay, or what do you know about that?
Well, I didn't know it happened, honestly. And I visited with him about it right before I walked in here because I didn't know what happened. My wife was at practice, and she told me that Hunter had got a cleat in the face, and by the way, the cleat was on somebody's foot. It wasn't like, somebody threw a cleat at him.
It wasn't like Florida where the guy threw a shoe or something.
Well, I'm not commenting on none of that. I'm just saying it was on a guy's shoe. He was trying to get out of the way, but I think I know he's going to be fine. I had a nice conversation with him, but I didn't even know what happened at practice.
And you mentioned too many penalties. Was there any particular, too mmany false starts, too many holds? Or I
can tell you exactly. There was too many
areas?
defensive pass interference. There was too many illegal starts on false starts on offense. And I think we cut down our jumps on the defensive line. I think there was 2 there, but that's too many. But we had too many pass interference, too much holding on the offensive line. It wasn't what I would call sloppy until maybe what I would think would be the fourth quarter, and it got kind of sloppy, which tells you we're not anywhere where we need to be yet.
Can you project toward what this week will look like, what you want to see, and then will you scrimmage inside here next week? How will that look?
Yeah. Well, we're going to meet with them tomorrow, no practice, and then Monday, Tuesday is going to be in the afternoon. And then we're going to come back in Spiders on Wednesday, and we're going to start practicing in the morning. And then we're going to practice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday in the morning. And the reason behind that is because I felt like we had slow starts at 11 last year. I just didn't feel like it. Now, the band, the crowd, the things, that'll help us too. But, starting fast is on you individually. But we also have to teach them, this is how your body feels the next time in the morning. And so we're going to take 4 days next week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So we'll go Spiders, full Spiders, and then we'll scrimmage on next Saturday about the same time. And then school starts. And the kids are totally off next Sunday.
Coach, I wonder if you could expand on Cam Little. You sound pretty confident with him. Just what's in his makeup that kind of leads to the consistency.
He knows how to kick the ball between them 2 deals, pretty consistently. We had a hurry field goal situation the other day, and it was 57, and he kicked it 65. I guarantee you, kicked it right through the middle, and his leg's a lot better than what it was, in my opinion, from the spring. He just really had a good spring. Our kickers, kickoff Vito's kicking the ball well, but Cam's, I've watched him enough I've got a lot of confidence in him.
Sam, just to keep going on special teams, punt returners, kickoff guys, what are you looking at there, and how much have you come? How far have you come, say, from last year when all of that was not great?
There's a fine line in trying to find a dynamic punt returner and going down there and tackling him. It depends on your belief as a coach, whether you're trying to run 4 or 5 guys down there and see if they can knock him out or not. We have not done that. We've run people by. We've run people. And obviously, today was a tag situation. First you had to find a guy to catch it. And so obviously, right now, Brooks, Stevens, Perotti, those are the guys that catch the ball most consistently. With Brooks has speed. They all 3 have speed. Kickoff returns a little different deal because, I think Day Bishop's looked really good there, and obviously he has speed. Oglesby's another guy that's done a nice job of returning. I like Miles Slusher back there. He looked good today doing it. So I think we're honing in a little bit more of those guys.
Sam, you mentioned Bauer has punted really well today. Is he kind of starting to emerge there as your punter, and is there still competition there?
Well, no, there's Sam's dinged up a little bit. Loy is. Before he got dinged up, he he was the number one punter. He had done such a really nice job, and so I'm assuming he'll be back soon. I'm assuming that battle will be ongoing when he gets back. But, Reed, I like him because he punted in games for us in the past. He's just a scrappy guy. He's like, you're not beating me out. I think that's 2 years in a row that maybe had other plans for somebody to punt, and there he goes running out there, So if he's the best, that's what we'll do.
And I think you touched on it earlier, but the 3-man front and 4-man front, I think first 5 practices y'all were primarily in 4, last couple of days in 3. Was it primarily 3 today, and how's that split up in camp?
Combination. I think Barry's getting a little bit closer to the feeling of, I asked him before, I want to know how we're playing the players, how many reps they have, what kind of, what Barry's thoughts are on the scrimmage, what Kendall's are. And going into scrimmage, he was feeling like he wanted to go half and half with his 4-down line, his 3-down line. I still, I believe that you have to be able to do both. We weren't as fortunate as what we are right now in D-line depth. So we were only, we felt like we were a better football team in a 3-down front. We get another safety on the field. Excuse me. But right now, I think, I played Barry, I don't know, many times, 6, 7, whatever it was, between Tennessee and Georgia and here. And the thing that made him real hard was the multiple looks that he can give you and keep the same people for the most part on the field.
Dominic Johnson was moving forward. Will he work at running back and tight end, or is he sort of more tight end because that's a newer spot, or what do you do there?
Well, Bob, I don't want him standing over on the sideline. You know what I mean? So he's getting his reps at tight end. I want him to learn tight end. I want him to stand next to Dow. I want to do that, but until he learns a little bit more of the offense, he can't get the adequate number of reps, in there. You know what I mean? So instead of him becoming a guy that was playing quite a little bit to a guy that's not, until he learns a little bit more of the offense, we'll probably continue to use him as running back. And that's what we did today. We had it planned out. Hey, we're going to play him X number of reps at tight end, and then let's try to get him, 6 to 8 carries on offense. And that's what we did. But to answer your question, we've moved him to tight end.
And then, Dow obviously played here, but he's been a pro guy for so long. In your observations of practice, how's he handling coaching high school kids? Because college kids, because he's obviously used to working with pro guys.
He's got such a great personality. Again, he has such a great love for Arkansas. I mean, he just beams of it, and he knows how to coach, And so, I don't know. I've never coached in the pros. It might be a whole lot different, but I would assume it's about how you treat them, what your knowledge is, how you talk to them. Do you know what you're talking about? And if you do those two things, I think you can coach about any level. You lose trust and you lose respect from your players when you talk to them in the wrong type of way and when you don't know what you're talking about. And if you'll talk to them and teach them, and Dow's really good at that.
Coach, you mentioned Trey Williams had 2 or 3 sacks today, maybe more. Just what makes him a tough assignment for a tackle?
I had 3 first-rounders. Ooh, was that a brag? I didn't mean to do that. They obviously were really good players. But, in the last 2 years that I was at Georgia, I had 3 guys happen to go in the first round, and Trey gave them all trouble when he was at Missouri. And he given our guys trouble too, So he's a good player. He's fast, he's long, he's quick, high energy, high motor. Utsey's the same way. John Ridgway's the same way. And John's a different cat. He's 6'5", 3 1/4. He's not quite got the quick twitch that Trey does, but certainly has a lot of value. And I think he's a really good player. I always have, ever since I was going against him. Well, actually recruiting him when I went into his high school and tried to recruit him.
Sam, offensive line, curious about depth, if there's some guys making progress, and how do you feel about the progress from, last year to now, and maybe not so much just today, but, this first week and a half, Coach?
I think we're getting better. With Ricky been being out for a few days, you can look at it however you want. As a coach, you can look at it as not you want someone to get hurt, but it's a blessing because you can get your number 2 center where you're not going, oh my gosh, he got hurt during the game. That's a blessing, part of it. Ty's done a nice job with that. But when you lose a guy out of your front like Ricky, you're losing one of your best, one of your best offensive linemen, if not your best offensive lineman. But it's been a good week. Ty's gone in there and done a nice job. There's another battle over there with Jones and Latham. Brady's also able to back us up at right tackle. I think Tykees Crawford is going to be in our 2 deep. He's coming along, getting a lot better. Got a battle over there. Bo's obviously starting now with Ty going to center. We still have some battles as far as cohesiveness. I think they're getting better. Obviously, anytime you have a different coach, there's maybe slightly different techniques that he's teaching. Even though I was both of these guys they were both my GAs. I think we're going to be fine up there. I think it's all about the time in the pocket. It's all about the timing, getting routes open. For the most part, they gave plenty of time. Now Trey, with his sacks and other sacks that went on, that could have been running with the 2s. It could have been versus the 1s as well. I'll have to go look and see when it happened. But Trey played with the 1s and the 2s.
Any more questions for Coach?
You expecting AJ back and Stromberg and DD near term, or how's that looking on those 3?
AJ is probably going. I expect him back no later than probably midweek. I'd be shocked if he's not back. I really want to see him next Saturday, and I think we can get him back by then. Who else did you say? Ricky. Yeah. Ricky. I'm going to tell you, I think Ricky has a chance to get back by the scrimmage next week. I would be kind of shocked if he's not. Nix has been, bummed up with that ankle. I'm not for sure if he won't be back by Tuesday, maybe. I'm guessing there. Who else did you ask about? Oh, Dede. I don't know about Dede. I still have to wait and see exactly what his injury was, to be honest with you. And we'll go from there.